Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today's video was brought to us by Patreon supporter Steve. Huge thanks to Steve and the rest of my Patreon supporters. Steve reached out asking for an aggressive +1/+1 counters deck led by Reyhan, Last of the Abzan, and Tymna the Weaver. He asked that the deck be built around Master Chef, and I was more than happy to oblige. But before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel and it's free. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Reyhan, Last of the Abzan is a 3-mana 0/0 legendary human warrior who enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever a creature we control dies or is put into the command zone, if it had 1 or more +1/+1 counters on it, we may put that many +1/+1 counters on target creature. Reyhan also has Partner. Tymna the Weaver is a 3-mana 2/2 legendary human cleric with lifelink. At the beginning of our post-combat main phase, we may pay X life, where X is the number of opponents that were dealt combat damage this turn. If we do, we draw X cards. Tymna also has Partner. The third and final key card in this deck's build is Master Chef. Master Chef is a legendary background enchantment that says commander creatures you own have this creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them. Now, I know that neither Tymna nor Reyhan have Choose a Background, so we can't have Master Chef as a third commander. And that's fine. The idea here is to build around having Master Chef in the 99 as one of our key cards. But in addition to +1/+1 synergies, we'll want to keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. As I'm sure you've heard by now, this channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard makes these beautiful solid color playmats, like this one in a gorgeous shade of crimson. One of my favorite things about Ultimate Guard is their vibrant color palette. This mat is surprisingly thick and much smoother than other playmats I've used before. And since it's my favorite color, this one will probably be my go-to from now on. Find out if your game store carries Ultimate Guard products, or click the link in the video description to their Amazon store. One more thing before we get started. I've been streaming Final Fantasy XIV over on my other channel every weekday in the afternoons. If you want to pop in and ask some questions, chat about Commander, or just hang out, you're more than welcome to. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Marsh Flats, Verdant Catacombs, Windswept Heath, Arid Mesa, Bloodstained Mire, Misty Rainforest, Indatha Triome, Godless Shrine, Overgrown Tomb, Temple Garden, Vault of Champions, Undergrowth Stadium, Bountiful Promenade, Shattered Sanctum, Deathcap Glade, Overgrown Farmland, Isolated Chapel, Woodland Cemetery, Sunpetal Grove, Snowfield Sinkhole, Woodland Chasm, Arctic Treeline, Bajuka Bog, Murmuring Bosk, 3 Plains, 3 swamps, and 4 forests make up our lands for this deck. Fertilid's Favor, Rishkar Pima Renegade, and Gyre Sage make up our on-theme ramp, but we've also got Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern, The Great Henge, Farseek, Rampant Growth, 3 Visits, Nature's Lore, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, and Skyshroud Claim to help us ramp faster. Inspiring Call, Esper Sentinel, Sun Titan, Eternal Witness, Nikara Layer Scavenger, Eerie Ultimatum, Shadrick Silverquill, Toski Bearer of Secrets, Tribute to the World Tree, and Demonic Tutor make up our card advantage package. Jarina Dauntless General, Swords to Plowshares, Scavenging Ooze, Knight of Autumn, Assassin's Trophy, Abrupt Decay, Ink Shield, Fracture, Beast Within, Voracious Hydra, and Lion Sash help us to clear away annoying cards. Damning Verdict and Damn are both flexible interaction that can leave our board alone as needed. Ayara's Oathsworn, Arwen, Weaver of Hope, Micaeus the Lunarch, Champion of Lampholt, Forgotten Ancient, Cathar's Crusade, Felisa, Fang of Silverquill, Managorger Hydra, Juniper Order Ranger, Walking Ballista, Shalai, Voice of Plenty, Yannick, Scavenging Sentinel, Kalidas, Trader of Get, Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, and Verduras Gearhulk make up the core of our deck. But supporting our plan, we're also running Hardened Scales, Branching Evolution, Vorinclex Monstrous Raider, Winding Constrictor, Corpsejack Menace, the Ozolith, Ozolith the Shattered Spire, Good Fortune Unicorn, Evolution Sage, and Akroma's Will. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 50 mana sources split between 36 lands and 14 pieces of ramp. Right on target. 11 pieces of interaction. 10 pieces of card advantage. 2 board wipes. 4 pieces of graveyard hate in Jarina, Lion Sash, Scavenging Ooze, and Bajuka Bog. 1 Sudden I Win card in Akroma's Will. Now, with cards like Cathar's Crusade and Voracious Hydra, we'll be putting tons of counters on all of our creatures. And since our creatures have a pretty low casting cost, we should probably be casting numerous creatures every turn. On top of that, we have a ton of counter doublers or counter enhancers as well. The problem with a +1/+1 counters deck is that you want to balance out the counter generators with the counter enhancers. Having cards like Hardened Scales, Corpsejack Menace, and Evolution Sage on board don't do you a lot of good if you don't have creatures with counters on them to begin with. So I found that you want a lot more creatures that create their own +1/+1 counters than cards that simply enhance the number of counters on them. 2 times 0 is still 0 after all. Do you have a +1/+1 counters deck? Who are your commanders? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. One of the tiers is specifically set up for Commander. For only $25, I will build you a custom Commander deck based around your specifications, and even do a deck video on it. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Squishy, Brett, Roxy, Josh, Sean, Pob Zombie, Mark, Alex, Daniel, Steve, Kevin, Alex, Cookie, Nick, Borgie, Jake, and Exiled Rogue. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander deck videos often, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Also, if you're a fan of anime and manga like I am, feel free to check out my other channel, Musings by Danon. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.